Have you ever considered the weather? Weather. Whether you like it or not, we weather the storms that are here. We weather the weather, whether it's better or not. The weather is here. We at her. We at here, here. The weather. So, it's quite fascinating that there's like this weather going on within ourselves all the time based on the patterns that are playing out. The particular patterns is like the energies within and as like our consciousness are constantly going on, and you know we're influenced by other like weather patterns in play, and that's kind of like how each human being exists here, is constantly within this interplay of weather patterns happening. And so we're in relationship to like various weather cycles, like opposing forces, so much so because there's this cognitive dissonance within placing ourselves within the shoes of each other so often. And when this happens, this creates like this storm within ourselves, and we're the like starting point force of perpetuating this like storm cycle play out of like emotional like trauma, trauma as our like self-created personal drama on whatever situation. And so often it can be like pointed or pushed with like the finger of blame within that sort of game, where we say like, oh, like this person is so drama, like their drama stressed me out, I can't handle their storm anymore, their weather, like just their drama, their shit. What happens within such a particular incident is that we take such shit personally, and then, oh, guess what? Like, we're one and equal to that same fucking weather pattern, that cycle, that storm. And then, thus, like, we create our own inner havoc due to being, like, one and equal with that point and not realizing that point within ourselves. And then, thus, that triggers, perpetuates the play out within ourselves. And wow, to realize, like, we are the starting point of the weather here. And go figure, if we look at the big picture, our total shared reality here, that the weather reflects all of us here. It'd be kind of cool if the weather people on TV started saying like, you guys, everyone here, we're making the weather the way it is today. Um, it's all in our action and inaction is what we're fucking doing, our movement. It's creating this like fucking wind, like all the wind that's getting passed out of our ass with the gas that blasts. And it's warming shit up, it's cooling shit down because fuck, it's just crazy. It's a crazy gaseous place. Gaseous? Gaseous place. Yes. So, what, what, what is it we do about the weather? Because we weather the weather whether we like it or not. So, why not take self-direction and stand as like the person weathering the solution here is like, okay, like let me enable myself to express myself despite the most gnarly conditions perhaps presented to me in my environment, by facing the storm of each individual's shit, cyclops, like fucking like mayhem, total like la la la. And remaining here in stability within breath as like, okay, I see the wave of their emotion, I see it here, I realize it, I place myself within it, and I'm able to surf it as like the direction, as like the surf instructor here, as the one who can ride the wave into a solution, into like a point of stable support, and like not get caught up within the drama as the trauma of like the storm, as like the tropic thunder. And yeah, it's this has been quite the situation for myself, and seeing how, like, just the other day I had these high drama profile clients at the ski hill, which were very important people because they had a shit ton of money, and so they wanted to, like, custom build their fucking every desire this way, and say like fuck you to the protocol of like how whatever regular lessons or privates typically work. They just want to custom tailor it their ways, and within that, the children were super demanding and like whiny pushy because their parents catered to all their ways, and they were acting like this, that, and having tantrums here, there. And like the first day, I allowed myself to take some of this shit personally, and just kind of like, okay, keep it all together within myself. But there was a resistance within me, and I totally wasn't at ease within myself. And it's like I created like my own fucking diss to my ease by being hard on myself, by creating my own weather patterns of like energetic friction, by not really placing myself in the shoes of the other, like their storm that's here, what's going on within them. And thus I was lame and pointing the finger with blame, and going into my own like power righteousness of my self-righteous indignation, and just like playing out my automated defense system structures as like, oh, judgment, this, that, that, as to like proliferate like me within my own anger, frustration, irritation, angst. And I didn't take responsibility for those like thoughts that came up in the moment, and let them go and forgive myself for them, and place myself one and equal with the other. And as a result of that, I carried like, oh, some strain that gave me like a headache as like a result of like the bullshit that I was thinking about within my head. And so, it's kind of an interesting thing here to look at, is if you get a headache, it's like, well, how the fuck did your head get the ache? Could it be in what you thought about and what you were thinking about, as like it was a strain and was strenuous in thinking about such shit? And, why would it be so strenuous? It's because of the nature of the relationship, like the weather pattern associations within and at that point. And, yeah, so, I went home that night, and I faced the point and realized, like, fuck, it was shameful what I accepted and allowed within myself today. And so, I corrected the shit, realized, like, okay, I want to prevent this shit from happening again in the future. So, I was cool. I was faced with the same clientele associations the next day, and similar set of incidences, and I had a fun time within it, because I didn't get swallowed up by the wave. I didn't drown in my sorrow of taking shit so personally, and in fact, I stayed as a cool point of stable support with it at all. And yeah, it was easy. It was pretty effortless, and the day was quite enjoyable. So we are the solution to the weather here. Word.